It's okay. Off your mind. It's okay. Off your mind.
Chai! Now wow, people wey suppose talk truth to power don't off mic. And if we talk, now 500,000 they go summer us, call them hate speech. But fear not, my ego don't come. Ingo torchlight every corner, nooks and cranny of all these bad people where they spoil our country. So my people make we laugh, my ego don't come, my people make we shout, my ego don't come, my ego don't come, man of the masses, my ego don't come, political, this one not the off in mind. And in the touchlight every corner. Okay, some people be they holla say they want the power. Chai, them be promise us say we go get light and power. Them hustle sote they can't get the power. But now they know they do anything with the power. Every day, dollar just they get the higher power over naira. See them talk say make we off mind, but thank God say my ego don't come. So my people make you ladder, my ego don't come, my people make we shout, my ego don't come, my ego don't come, man of the masses, my ego don't come, my ego die the political, my ego don't come, this one not they off in mind, my ego don't come, person where they do evil, no one make person talk. Them say that my yegun, that man too they talk. He too they talk. Say my yegun diary, he they hot like pepper. But every day then they take money in bulk. Woman picking, they the street they hawk. Still them talk say make we no talk. But thank God say my yegun don't come. So my people make you laugh, my yegun don't come, my people make you shout, my yegun don't come.
Hello there.
Ayegun làwa mọ̀ làmọ̀ dódódódó.
Ayegun diary, Ayegun number one.
Good morning to you, good afternoon to you, and good evening to you from wherever you are watching from. This is Mayegun Live.
Ayegun number one.
Lórí Facebook, lórí YouTube.
Ayegun diary, Ayegun number one.
Gbogbo bó ṣe ń lọ ni Máyégún já wa sí.
Ayegun diary, Ayegun number one.
Àṣírí ọ̀jẹ̀lú kì í kó níbẹ̀ o.
Ayegun diary, Ayegun number one.
This is Sunday sermon on Mayegun's Diary Political, the Temple of Truth, TOT. And brethren, you are welcome. Remember, share the broadcast. Invite your friends. Invite your not so friendly friends. And tell them, Mayegun today.
Ayegun diary, Ayegun number one.
Ẹ farabalẹ̀ sẹ́ o kẹ́gọ́rọ̀ lẹ́nu.
Ayegun diary, Ayegun number one.
Àní Máyégún làwa mọ̀ dódódódó.
Ayegun diary, Ayegun number one.
Àní ẹ̀sùn rà kì í.
Ayegun ti dé.
Mo ti dé.
Ayegun ti dé.
Ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀.
Tell them.
Ayegun ti dé.
Share the broadcast.
Ayegun ti dé.
And tonight,
Ayegun ti dé.
it is going to be about poverty.
Lórí YouTube.
Ayegun ti dé.
Àní ẹ̀sùn rà kì í.
Ayegun ti dé.
Poverty is not a virtue. Read the caption of the broadcast. Read the description of the broadcast. Take your time. digest it, okay? And then sit back, relax, and enjoy it tonight. Mayegun today.
Ọlọ́pàá tí ń darí bá ayé ẹ̀sùn rà jù aṣòfin tí ń rúfin òwò ayé ẹ̀sùn rà jù òkúra olóṣèlú ayé ẹ̀sùn rà jù ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀sùn rà jù ayé ẹ̀sùn rà jù.
Today, again, good morning to you, good afternoon to you, and good evening to you from wherever you are watching from. Okay, this is the Temple of Truth, the TOT, and you can tell your neighbor, welcome, neighbor, neighbor, welcome. Shake their hands, virtual shaking. Oh yeah, handshake, virtual handshake. Tell your neighbor you are welcome. But there is a caveat. Sunday sermon is not like every other or any other program that you regularly watch on Mayegun's Diary Political. It is a no holds bar session. A place where we call A, B, B, and we don't give a damn about whose ox is God. Do you understand? Our conversation can lead to anywhere and anyone. On Sunday sermon, there is no sacred cow. Do you understand? So we usually advise people who are emotionally weak, people who are politically correct, and those who have been starved respect, and they are everywhere begging for it. And we, like I said, we just kind of be more blunt when we are doing the Sunday sermon, and the story is not always direct. It goes everywhere. But one beautiful thing about the Sunday sermon on Mayegun's Diary Political is that it is the realest of the reals. It is the segment where you would picture yourself in the scenarios that Mayegun will paint in telling his stories. You get that? You are not just going to sit down there and, imagine what it is like. No. On Sunday sermon, the happenings, the scenarios that I'm going to actually picture and paint for all of us tonight would be much inclusive. Whether you are in Nigeria or you are not in Nigeria, whether you believe that you are rich or you consider yourself average or even poor, in whichever category you probably found yourself, on Sunday sermon segments, you would see yourself clearly. And when I'm talking about those who are the victims of this fraudulent contraption, even if you are yet to see yourself as victims, you are going to feel what it is like that those who are already confirmed victims are feeling. It is magical. I promise you. This is the segment where people always kind of come back to me to say, you really took me on an emotional roller coaster. You got me thinking. And these are people who are not victims. So you understand? They are not being beaten by SASO. They are not being profiled by the criminal system in Nigeria. The corruption and the consequences of the corruption in Nigeria is not directly affecting them. But on Sunday sermon, you are going to feel affected. And then you probably will get to understand why a lot of people spend their evenings with Mayegun as well. But yeah, if you remember the caveat, okay, you won't be offended. And if anything I say offends you, I would like to tell you that there will be no apologies. The best advice is to let you know that if it is becoming unbearable, you can easily excuse yourself, okay? That's the best. Mhm. So share the broadcast, invite your friends, and if you have done all of that, we can get started. You see, in my short life, what do you call life stage so far, mhm, I have gained so much knowledge about the consequences of bad leadership. It started with, what is government? Is government just some group of people who have a chance of being in power and then other people can try to be there and all of that stuff? You know what I mean? Like a position of privilege. Then I discovered that the generational destruction that bad leadership offers is so destructive that anyone who understands the danger of what this simply means, they will do everything within their power to prevent it or resist it. Hmm? Government is so powerful that the characters of people that are in control of any government in any part of the world are so crucial, so crucial, that if any error or mistake is made, their rogues and criminals seizes power, that country is done for until they wake up and end the adventure. You getting it yet? No? Okay, don't worry. Government is pretty much like God in sort of a, descriptive way, not like God, you know what I mean? Why? You see, government owns, it's pretty much like they own the right to almost everything. When they say yes to something, they call it original because it is certified by that government. If the government, if the government does not say you were born, you were not born. Until government says you are dead, you are not dead. Except for a banana republic like that of Nigeria, where people just go missing, killed, even by their own government, unaccounted for. You get what I mean? You before you can then say you want to kind of function in a society, it all starts from that identification. Oh, you have a date of birth, right? So you need something together, right? Government. Now, if you now decide to start family, or sorry, let's say you start a business, for example, the success of that business, 80% of that lies in the character of people who are indeed in your government. One single horrible policy can send millions of people into generational poverty, ruins, and destruction. That is how powerful government is. They don't work, but they take, which means they also depend on the same citizens, if they are actually like doing well, for them to even function. But in a corrupt system, citizens don't really matter, just like that of Nigeria. Now, when you now have people of questionable characters, criminals, in charge of your government. All right. For example, another one. When government, or let me say the character of people in your government, will also determine if corruption is going to be a state legalized sort of thing, or it will be frowned upon, like seriously. So when you have a system taken over by criminals, as you have in Nigeria, which means everything that was supposed to be legal, everything that's supposed to be illegal normally, since they are the ones making the laws, all right? And they are the ones who are also executing the laws, okay? So it simply means by their own choosing, they will decide what is criminal and what is not, which means a society run like that, can be compared, if not worse, to a banana republic. Now, when you now take a look at what you have in Nigeria, also, leadership, the leadership that knows that when you allow all kinds of illegality to pass, as they always do, including corruption, including official policy corruption as well, which indeed are having their own adverse effect on the life of their people. Leadership. So character of people who goes into the position of leadership, right, would then have to determine, right, what such society will become and why. When you have a chance of comparing and you look at that of Nigeria, you have to be worried. Here, I left Nigeria about 12 years ago, okay, to a country here in the UK. And that was when, like I said, that was part of the time when I started kind of understanding the role of government. And if the prosperity and the wealth of the society is going to be sort of monopolized by just few people, few privileged people against, the rest of the country, or the even distribution of wealth, which in return, right, will create a prosperous society that will on its own, okay, cut and curb poverty. Then once poverty is down, crime will be down. When crime is down, pressure on those who are running the country is halved. And in that case, right, everybody can easily monitor. When things start going wrong, you can easily see where it is. Do you get what I mean? A country where no matter how greedy or how corrupt they are, they never made that mistake of monopolizing the wealth of the country. And not monopolizing the wealth of the country as sort of allowed them to really manage the prosperity of their country and their people. And it is so pronounced. All of us who came here get to realize that Nigeria is a weapon fashioned against us. And you cannot run a country like that and expect a sudden miracle, because Nigeria, what they have in Nigeria is the leadership that are so greedy, so corrupt, right, that they have monopolized the wealth of the country against the vast majority of their citizens. In that case, it has created generational poverty. It's generational poverty which has also created a society that is more or less like dog eat dog, where abnormalities are normalized, where things that are actually crime are not considered as real crime but being smart. So crimes increased, as poverty increases. Now, meanwhile, the criminals who monopolize the wealth after grabbing a power, who monopolize the wealth and continue to kind of, share that within themselves. And this time around, even flaunting it on the face of the citizens who are so impoverished up till now. Government. So in Nigeria, like I said, where you have criminals who have taken over the country for decades, they have no plan of wealth creation. In fact, they don't even know how to create wealth. If you don't know how to create wealth, you probably will never understand the process of wealth redistribution. They are more, they have created a society whereby, a lot are actually, striving to be better than their neighbor. Take a look at this. After I got to the UK, I have told you this before. This is the reason why, or what prompted the Mayegun's Diary Politico that some of you have sort of come to know today. The anger that I felt when I arrived in the UK 12 years ago. And what was that rage and anger? I've heard a lot about this country. I've seen movies, I've seen video, I've seen pictures. And for somebody who was born and then raised in Nigeria for 27, 28 years, I was expecting things to wow me. Like, wow. But instead of being wowed, I became more angrier every day. I am like, there is 24 hours electricity, 24/7 electricity, 366 or 365 days a year, non-stop. Okay? The roads are all sort of clean, tarred, the drainages are there. And then you see the, the security, the police, and then you see their healthcare system whereby all it took was just register, and I don't really have to begin to save money or take a loan or get an insurance if I have any healthcare problem. So their schools, the trains and all of that. And every now and then, because I used to kind of ride a bicycle, and so it was easier for me to be around all those places and so many places like that. And I was like, if those who come here, I'm talking about the elites in Nigeria, not even just the politicians now. Let's put the politicians aside for now. Let's talk about the elite. The ones who parade themselves as rich people. Not politicians now, just normal people. Elite, they call themselves. They live in, big houses in Nigeria. You know what I mean? They drive lovely, lovely cars in their different shanties where they, or different estates where they built for themselves. Rich people's areas and all that. But that's Nigeria, Abi. They traveled out of Nigeria every year. Some of them traveled out of Nigeria more than 2 times in a year. Then you go back to the politicians themselves, their families and all of them, who are also traveling out of Nigeria every now and then, free of charge. They were using all of these facilities that they are seeing here. You get that? They are using all of them when they leave Nigeria. So if the politicians are already sort of on their own agenda, the agenda to keep the people in perpetuity, the perpetuity of poverty. What about the elite? Are they not really moved to get angry? This was me 12 years ago. I was asking myself, like, those who are elite in Nigeria, whose children's school abroad, and so many of them travel abroad. Some of them are watching me right now, because there are so many of you watching me from Nigeria that can be considered as Nigeria elite. Do you not get angry? You know what I mean? Like, when you return back to Nigeria, every year, do you not get angry the way these roads have ruined Nigeria? I believe it is deliberate. And this is why it is completely unforgivable. And that is why I kind of don't encourage you to give anybody who is trying to be politically correct any breathing space. When somebody tells you, show some respect, don't you have culture, don't you have tradition, don't give them any breathing space, fire them. Do you get? Like, do you not get angry that Nigeria, a country of 200 million people, cannot generate electricity to actually power their own country for 63 years? Do you not get angry? Like, it's the same complaints all the time. There is a light after the tunnel. There is light after the tunnel. Come on. There is no light after any tunnel. You are in a hole, in a deep hole. Do you not get angry? Like when you get back to Nigeria at the airport, because you are still friends with some of these politicians yourselves. But I know why. Because I am from Nigeria. So if I'm asking these questions, sometimes I need to let you know that we know the answers, even if they won't answer. Because you have leaders who have no empathy. They have no sympathy. They have no humanity. The agenda is to keep the people poor. But in their own miserable minds, they forgot the fact that any poor country or anywhere that the people are poorer, there will be increase in crime. And if there is increase in crime, even those of you who are benefiting from that rot, you are not safe. Does common sense should not tell them? I mean, let's leave people's alliances now. Let's leave them. Whether you are APC, no, let's leave all of that. I'm talking to those of you who are like Nigeria elites. You are driving on those bad, terrible roads. If you have a medical emergency, you would rather they take you to London because you believe that majority of the Nigerian hospitals, right, they are just glorified mortuaries. You know it. Do you not get upset? And with your wealth and your resources, do you not think you are enabling and collaborating with them by just sorting yourself out? Since you have been sorted, your children have been sorted, the poor people, it's none of your business. What do they want you to do? The last time you gave about 20 boreholes to 20 communities, since the government will not provide water. So in your own charity, you have done that. So what do we want us to? What do you want? What do we want you to do again? Is that not what you are telling yourselves? Since you can pay your way out of it, what do we want you to do? Because you are better than your neighbor. You better pass your neighbor. And if your neighbor no fit catch up, that is the problem of your neighbor, none of your own problem. And that makes a Nigerian elite. Majority of you are parading yourselves as elite. Former ambassador, former this, former that. CEO of this, CEO of that, and all those titles you love to parade. in Nigeria as wealthy people who are living in the poverty capital of the world. I mean, that makes you kind of, apart from your collaboration with them, that makes you stinking elites who are living in a shithole, but they are not ashamed of it. They would love to host their family graduation in New York, in London, in Canada, in all those top cities where they charter private jets to fly to and all of that. Nigeria elite. But back to the people themselves. They want you to believe that poverty. I mean, I have seen it. Okay? I have seen where people have told me that God loves the poor. And this is also where I disagree completely with those who have used religion to sort of control your mind for the criminals that are going to what? Mortgage your future. This is where I kind of always have my own disagreement. They glorify poverty in Nigeria. They make those who have become the victim of poverty in Nigeria, they make them believe that there is nothing wrong in being poor. All you should know is that if you work hard and pray to God to bless you, then poverty can be gone. Do you understand that mentality? There are those, if I start, whenever I tell people or try to kind of analyze the official corruption and how that actually affects the generality of the people. You know what I mean? Some of them don't kind of care. They are just like, you are just eating. Apart from the Stockholm syndrome that makes the victim to begin to have emotional attachment to their own oppressor or bully, is synonymous with Nigerians, no doubt. But they love to make them believe that if you work hard in a country with the highest number of jobless people, because of these guys. First, let me tell you how they make you poor. Okay? Because Nigeria is so poor that all you have is money, unfortunately, because of these selfish criminals. Poverty. I'll tell you. In the UK, I'll use here for you so that you can understand, because I've lived here for a while. So here in the UK, they have what they call the minimum wage. And the minimum wage, which is also like the living wage, under the charter of how many hours can you work and all of that. So what will come to you and all that. Then, in the same country, when it comes to infrastructures that are going to, number one, make it easier for me to earn that pay, which is to work. Okay? After providing that, they also provided, a chance whereby if for any reason, after working hard, I fall by the way, a welfare system that can indeed be like a buffer, something you can at least fall back on until you get back on your feet. But while that could be the life crisis that you're trying to like figure out, instead of you going down the drain, for example, spending money that you don't have on things that are not provided by the entire system, like the infrastructures that are not there. So I won't have to worry for my children. I don't have to worry about their education, like paying for their education. I won't have to. I won't have to worry if for any reason any member of my family develops any serious medical problem. I won't go poorer because of that. You get that? And like I said, there is always a welfare system that will take care of me if I fall under the weather, like, you know what I mean? So things that are going to keep what do you call it? My self-esteem and human dignity and every other thing that should not turn me into slave, a pauper or a beggar. The system provides for that. So in Nigeria, right, those who were supposed to build roads, right, they will use the money. They'll get the contract. Okay, they won't build the road, and if they did build the road, it will be substandard. So they take what do you call it? Either the whole contract money or the chunk of it, and they move it out of Nigeria. The roads to farms where people are like growing food, crops, and perishable foods, crops like that, they have no chance of moving their ripe fruits or food into the city because of bad road. The money for the road has been used to buy property in America, in UK, or any other part of the world. That is the mindset of the ruiners of Nigeria. So those who are to normally break even, break poverty, economic freedom, because they are actually hardworking. The entire system that failed to provide that infrastructure will actually end up making them poorer and sort of worn out. So they will be working, but they will be poor. Yeah? So the same system, right, that refuse to build standard medical centers with well-paid, remunerated staff that are in abundance anyway. The rest of the world is kind of harvesting them from Nigeria for the past 7 years. The world gain is Nigeria's loss. But the criminals don't care. They won't fund your health care. Okay? So here we are. They said in Nigeria today, with the facilities that these criminals have provided in 63 years, today in Nigeria, it is like one doctor to 21,000 Nigerians. And it is going to get worse. And it is the same thing with your police. They refuse to fund them. Rather, they turned them into extortionist squad. So the hospitals that they fail to equip, the medical staff that they fail to pay, will end up turning your medical centers to simple glorified mortuaries. And they alternatively, after taking the money meant for them out of Nigeria, they were also booking themselves the best medical centers abroad, paid for with the money meant for your own hospitals in Nigeria. The giant of Africa, the third largest oil producer, where are they now? The third largest oil producer in Africa, or is it in the world, cannot generate 5,000 and distribute 5,000 megawatt of electricity. 63 years of independence. Now, not having reliable, dependable, and stable electricity in Nigeria has contributed over 60% to Nigeria underdevelopment, Nigeria's poverty. But guess those who choose not to do it? The criminals who took over power in Nigeria. The effect of a bad leadership. The leadership who didn't feel like, you have seen movies or probably seen documentaries of when they'll say power goes off somewhere in the Western world, and then they will begin to tell you how many lives were lost because power suddenly shut down in a particular part of the world, because 24 hours electricity in this 21st century is no longer luxury, but in Nigeria, it is a luxury. If the power should go off here unannounced, there are people that will get trapped in their own elevator. There are people that are going to have to die if the power is not up at a certain time in different medical centers all over the world. All over that city. These are just for, like, even those who are in the hospitals who have alternative power. There are those who are in their homes that their survivor, their life completely depends on this light cannot go off. If the light should go off in their homes, it is like automatic execution. So this number of people whose lives depend on, not to talk of those who are going to, like in your household, who are going to lose and all of so many things, right? Through the power cut and all that. Now, let's even say, if the number of people whose lives are 100% attached to electricity, that power in wherever they are, let's say they are not even many. Let's say they are not many compared to the larger population. But if you don't have real leaders with empathy, with human, what do you call it? The human sympathy. Those who don't care for two will not care for 2 million. That's exactly what I have discovered. If you care for two, you are likely going to be able to care for 2 million. And the priority over life in this country makes every sector vital, because life depends on them. Not in Nigeria. So they are giving you excuses. Meanwhile, the billions upon billions upon billions of dollars they invested in that, they ended up outside Nigeria. Not even like kept in Nigeria, open business, or do something that the money will still remain in that country, circulating there, serving the country in a different way. But how could they, when the intention is to actually keep everybody perpetually poor? So when they make electricity luxury and they continue to budget money for their own electric generating sets, and they normalize this, so everybody is open and praying till God will answer their own prayer, so that they won't have to worry about NEPA anymore, because the majority of people are already getting their own power. So if NEPA no bring light, all the people who don't have money to buy generator, they should probably just go and work hard. I better pass my neighbor mentality. So the poverty is deliberate. And God does not love poor people. God does not give a fuck about the poor people. Poverty is demeaning. And in the case of Nigeria, it is man-made. So if you are going through hardship right now, it is not because you are a sinner. It is not because you don't worship God so much. It is because of your choice. And when I say your choice, I will explain that. There are many, many of you who consider whatever is going on in Nigeria even though you are in Nigeria, it's mostly none of your business. At least you are better off, right? That's what I mean. So if somebody is sort of raging, ranting because of the hardship they are facing, they will be noisemaker to you. You know that. I remember one movie, and it was inside a church. And, in Nigeria, people always sort of shout on God. If you have listened to where Nigerians who have seen Shege are praying, sometimes you'll be like, man, God damn it. Right? They are very, very, very aggressive. Father Lord, have I not served you? Have I not served you faithfully? I served you with all my life. Today I cannot even afford my house rent. I fasted, I prayed, I have been very good. I have been this, I have been that. God, by the end of this year, I want to buy a car. I am tired of working. Heavenly Father, I'm tired. I need a car. So if you're standing next to them, just be like, oh my God. So yeah, there was this movie. And this guy was, they said they should all ask God whatever they wanted. It was a prayer point. Ask God if you need a child, if you want job, if you want money, if you need a car, if you need a house, you should ask God. Right now, the spirits are here. The angels are here. They are answering people's prayers. We always tell God. And this guy was standing next to a supposed rich Nigerian big man who was also there to talk to God as well. So they depict it was depicted in a way that if you are rich, your prayers are always going to be. So this rich man was also praying. Heavenly Father, I want to say thank you. Thank you so much for everything. My family, my daughter, my son, they are all doing well. My business is great, God. So while he was trying to speak to God that way, somebody be saying was, Father, I need 30,000 naira. Heavenly Father, I need 30,000 naira before tomorrow. I need 30,000 naira. I don't want to be homeless, God. I need that. He was shouting 30,000 naira. To the point that his prayer was disturbing the rich man's prayer or thanksgiving. And the rich man was like, God, you need to prove yourself to me today. Right now, I am calling on you. Prove yourself, oh. If you are God, you must prove yourself, oh. I need 30,000 naira. 30,000 naira. So the guy was like, see, guy, how much do you say you need? 30,000 naira, God. Heavenly Father. So it was like, okay, yeah, I'll give you 30,000. Can you? It's okay. I'll give you 30,000 naira. Can you? Instead of the poor man to begin to say, well, and calm down, he screamed more. Hey, Heavenly Father, thank you. You know that? It was like depicted that way. You know what is called being successful in Nigeria? When I was growing up, money wasn't the definition of being successful. I was born in 84. I wasn't too old or too young, okay? So we're the generation that is in between, okay? So the moment we crossed 90, crossed to 90, and then we crossed to 2000, you all know the story. You are the generation that they have managed to indeed lie to. They couldn't lie so much to people like us, my generation of the 80s. Money wasn't. In fact, if you cannot really explain the source of your wealth, when I was growing up, we were told to actually run away from you. Don't let that person touch you. Don't let this, you know what I mean? Like, they believe that you probably is up to something. You may be into robbery, you may be into fraud, you may be into something that is illegal. If the community couldn't tell, where you had your money from. Success when we were growing up was for somebody to graduate from school, from university. It was like a great thing. The moment you enter the higher institution, university, even though Nigeria wasn't good though, but it wasn't this bad or worse. It was a thing of pride. You will see the parent of a graduating student, poor parents, they will put on their best clothes because their son or their daughter is graduating, and he or she will take them out of poverty. That was when it used to be. Then gradually, those who didn't even go to school, they started becoming more successful. And guess what is that success? They have car, they have house, and they have women. The moment you were able to buy a car, or build a house, it doesn't matter. Just build one, okay? And then what else again? You are a successful person. And it doesn't really matter much anymore. When I talk about when people add something to show for the source, the source of their success, those who didn't go to university, after their primary school, secondary school, they went for different vocational skills. They were doing graduation too. Tailoring, which turned to fashion designing anyway. Woodworking, carpentry, they call that furniture making now. Anyway, families will celebrate the success of that new knowledge, because on that your achievement, they believe is going to be the foundation for your success tomorrow. But Nigeria happened to many of us that a lot actually ended up on a different path than they ever thought they would be, including me, Mayegun, who is now a podcaster. I thought I was going to be an international lawyer. Yeah, I was going to read international law. But now I am older. I know better that it is all name. There is no international law anywhere. If you look at what the world is today anyway, you start asking people, my brother, you studied international relations. How come all of you now we study international relations cannot bring good relationship among the world today? But you say it's not your fault, Abi, because the powerful people in the world decide what will happen, Abi. What about those who studied the international law? Now that you see powerful countries breaking the same international law, how do you feel? You know, that's thing, anyway. But here I am, a public speaker or analyst or whatever you would like to call me. So many others who have this certificate of their graduation, this BSc, this BS, that, they ended up, oh dear, when Nigeria happened to them. They couldn't build any success. They are now wallowing in the pool of poverty that these criminals have created, which has now turned out to be generational. They will tell you, the Rome walking Toshi. Say 6 or 10 generations cannot be poor. In Nigeria, their intention is to keep you perpetually poor, including your children, the people you served. Look around you. Some of you who are currently seeing today's criminals, the divisive element that you see in Nigeria today, Take a look at their faces and their names and tell me if your own parent didn't know them too. Now your own children are going to know them. And then your own children and children are probably going to have to serve their own children. It is deliberate. You know what I mean? So poverty, it breaks someone's self-esteem. Okay? Poverty is something that should be a number one reason why, when they say resist, it is for your own good and it is for our own good. When we resist tyranny, resist corrupted leadership, bad leadership, and criminals in charge, because our lives are totally attached to this, and it is too precious. Our lives are so precious to us for you to let us leave that in the hands of the rogues who are going to exchange it for money, monetary thing. So Nigerians today, we easily agree that the moment you have a car, the moment you have a house, it doesn't matter how you got them. Okay? Since nobody asked you what was the source of your poverty. You know, that's popular saying. I say every time they will say, what is the source of his, what is his source of wealth? His source of wealth. When he was poor, did you ask him the source of his poverty? Listen to me very well. If you are a young person watching me right now, it is one of those criminal thoughts that they have managed to coin out and plant in your brain to encourage you that do crime, do drug, do everything. Just don't get caught. And if you are caught, you won't be the first person to be caught. You get what I mean now? Do not in any way fall for that. The reason is that you see, a system where those would make our lives to something like a monetary gain, and then we don't care if making money from it is also going to kill other people, either like physically or, you know what I mean, otherwise. The mentality of, as long as I am okay, it's none of my business now. If anybody know they okay, may they know they okay, because that's exact mentality of the criminals who are running Nigeria. They have no empathy, they have no sympathy, they don't feel guilty of anything. Because, like I told people before, if you think Nigeria is not working, you are mistaken. Nigeria is working exactly how they want Nigeria to work. They want Nigeria divided, Nigerians divided, okay? And then this division, where they can then segment how they are going to control the poverty, how to manage it and maintain it. It's like managing poverty is what they will do. There is no plan of redistribution of wealth. Now, if you want to break such people, who have no good intention for us, not because of what they have said, no, it is because of what they are doing or what they have done. We have seen it. Lives have been sort of, wasted by the criminals who have no intention of changing it. They don't have that intention. It is a business as usual. I mean, you have all their names everywhere today, even if I don't have to mention names. Okay? So, poverty is not a virtue. Poverty is not a thing of pride. God does not love poor people. I am saying that to you now. Even if anybody uses religion to lie to you, that it is okay. That those who are stealing from you, they will meet their karma, because God will listen to the cry of the poor people. No. God doesn't listen to the cry of poor people the way you think it's going to be done. You cannot enable them. You cannot encourage them. You cannot help them normalize abnormalities and then wait for karma to do its job. Karma will not build your roads. Karma will not build your hospitals. The real karma should come from you. which they have socially conditioned to believe that there is nothing you can do. There is 10 that you can do. But the first one starts from you believing that you can do something. If you're a young person watching me from Nigeria, my message is primarily for you, but I know you are not likely going to listen. It's fine, okay? I wish you would listen. 24 years ago, I was a teenager, 16 years old boy. I was naive. I mean, if I have to describe what I was like, I would say I was a young man full of so much dreams. And these dreams were born out of the same impoverished system that these criminals have been managing for 63 years. 16-year-old boy, a teenager. Now, fast forward to today. That's 24 years after. I am now almost a 40 years old man. Now, between the age of 16 and now, I have enough experience to tell all of you who are younger than me that Nigeria have no plan for you. Don't let anybody tell you otherwise. They will tell you to go to school, which you are possibly doing now. Abi? Now, after school, you will realize that everything that they are teaching you in that school, none of them is applicable to the real world. You are going to waste 16 to 18 years of your life doing what I also did, because I was young, naive, and the elder ones, they never sat us down to tell us the truth about Nigeria. We were not prepared. A lot of us fell along the way. There are some of my mates you will see today, and if they tell you they went to school with Mayegun, you will be arguing because you will see what Nigeria has done to them. I'm grateful to God that there are those who are of my age who are also doing well. But when you put the ratio of those who are of my age, living in Nigeria, doing very well, and those who are of my age, living in Nigeria, not doing so well, because you know what I mean, then you will understand the ratio of what I'm talking about, okay? And it shouldn't be like that. We are all not meant to be rich. Do you understand? A society that creates equality, at least that also have a standard that our citizens will not fall below this. Because once they begin to fall below this, there will be crisis. A society that put that in place means what we are all asking for is an equal opportunity, a better standard of living, instead of conditioning us to be sort of layabout, lazy people, and all of that stuff they would love to call us, which are all conditional stuff, intentionally put together by these rogues. The life you are living in Nigeria today is intentionally shaped to be like that, and it is not your fault if you didn't know this. So, 24 years from the moment I started realizing that the Nigeria that they painted this picture for me when I was growing up was a complete lie. Then I'm growing up right now, And I am actually seeing the same pattern again and again and again, which in my own lifetime, I have seen the end goals many times, same way, failure with human fatalities. So if you are younger than myself, in your late 20s, in your mid 20s, or even early 20s, and you are comfortable defending these criminals, using religion, using tribe to defend them, and you are in your 20s, you have what do you call it, short time for the reality to set in. So I am saying it to you now that you have a chance of watching me, that Nigeria I have no plan for you, whether you are from the north or you are from the south, whether you are from whether you are a Muslim or you are a Christian. Sure, you understand me? Whether you are Yoruba, Hausa, Igbo, Fulani, Ijo, Ishekiri, Ijebu, there is no plan for you or your children. And no matter how cold this sounds, it is true. It is true. And you cannot endure your way out of hardship that is state-sponsored or state-inflicted. Do you understand? No. I'll say that again. The Nigerians that I have come to know, right from when my own mother was not just alive, she was young, a young woman. She believed that it go better. Maybe your own parent did believe that too. It go better. See, it go better, it go better, it go better. One day, it go better. We just do our. She been at the military. They will use 2 years or 4 years. Then we get another person. And then it go better. She been at just 4 years. I be 8 years. 8 years. Leave them 8 years. After that, then we will try another one. It go better. You cannot endure your way out of poverty. You cannot endure your way out of hardship. You cannot endure it. Endure your way out of horrible leadership. You would be a mogul. I mean, let's kind of think about this together. You have a place that you can do whatever you like, steal their money, rape their women, do whatever you want. All people will do is just to cry, not because of anything. You go one day, wake up and say, sorry guys, I think we are now tired of stealing Nigeria money. Now we want to stop stealing. We are now tired. Is that what you are expecting? Now maybe one day they will just be tired. No, they can't be tired. If you see a gold mine, a place where we say you don't need too much machinery, you don't need too much expert or technology. All you need is your digger, and the wheelbarrow and the shovel, and you can begin to dig gold. You go come carry the gold, and at some point you are going to be like, I am tired of getting. I have so much gold now. You know what I mean? I'm done. No, let's leave the gold. I'm just gonna go away. Anybody who want the gold, yeah, go there, go there, take them. Let's be honest. Is that what you're gonna do? Nigeria is like a gold mine, a filthy gold mine. They are not going to leave it. They are not going to change their mind. They are going to remain flies. They will die inside the beer. Except you actually stop them. A lot of people believe that Nigeria is rich. Well, I said, let's come to think of this. If Nigeria is not forced together as they call us today, each country that found itself in today's contraption called Nigeria is blessed with their own abundance resources. The northern Nigeria has theirs. The middle belt part of Nigeria, the Kwara fans, they have theirs. The western Nigeria, which is the Yorubas, we have ours. The eastern Nigeria, which are the Igbos, they have theirs, the Biafrans. And then out of the Delta, the Niger Delta, they will say, they have theirs too. But due to greed and selfishness and the monopolistic idea or tendencies of these criminals who are not really thinking in the interest of the larger society, you know what I mean? They decided to just keep it that way. It's not for use for them. 200 million people, which we all know that Nigeria's population is not even 200 million. It is fake. It is fraud. Total lie. We know how they emerge or how they arrive at 200 million. How they arrive at tomorrow they will get to 250 million or 300 million. We know all the numbers behind that. That is why they will never conduct a scientific census in Nigeria, because it is political. It's political. Historically, the northern Nigeria they continue to say northern Nigeria is more than the southern Nigeria, because the northern Nigeria of today plus the middle belt part of Nigeria, when you join the two of them together, they constitute over 74 to 75% of the entire Nigeria space, land space. The southern Nigeria is just about 30% or so of Nigeria. Do you get that? So they are now using the size of land, mostly deserts, unoccupied places all over the place, right? So they continue to load the Nigeria census because the number of people you claim to have in your state is going to help influence how much money your state is going to collect from the general purse of Nigeria every month. Since the lazy-minded criminals who came from northern Nigeria tasted the free Brent crude oil of the people of Niger Delta, as well as the free tax money of the people of southwest and the southeast of Nigeria, and all of this free money from the southern Nigeria gave them the chance of an opportunity to decide how much of that money goes to them. Not because they are contributing anything per se into that federal. Listen, in fairness, the same thing I've been saying, in fairness, the northern Nigeria, the farmers and the rest of all these traders there, right? They contribute over 45% of the food supply to southern Nigeria. They do. And it could have been a multi-billion dollars. I'm talking about a multi-trillion sort of a naira sort of economy. If there are real infrastructures there, infrastructures to to process all those things before they even ship them down to the south, which yield more profit for those who are growing them. But with the increase in terrorism, which has now become the biggest industry in northern Nigeria, draining Nigeria resources every now and then. But yet, the more money they pumped into fighting terrorism in northern Nigeria, the bigger and the bolder the terrorists have sort of become. Yeah, so northern Nigeria and the criminals from that part and their lazy mind who have no interest of investing in education, investing in the real infrastructure, but for politics and the reward from it, which includes allocation and sharing. They use census, so they will never agree that Nigeria should have a scientific census whereby you have to count everyone and have all of their data, have all their biometrics, so that which means you will know the number of people living in northern Nigeria, the number of people living, and it's actually good to plan your country, but they have no plan of planning anything. So they will load it and tell you Katsina State is bigger than Lagos State. Kaduna State is, is more populated than Oyo State, and all those kind of ridiculous stuff, because it's for sharing money, not for sharing development. So poverty is not a virtue. Now, when you have a country being governed by criminals like that, all right, you would have to tell yourself what you want. And you know these ones are not going to give that to you, right? So that's the first step. You resist. You resist the attempt of glorifying the criminals whose sworn agenda under whatever political party they push is what? Is to keep you and your generation in perpetual poverty. And then, if 1, 2, 3, or 4 of you in your own household manage to escape it, just thank your God, and the tens of thousands of other families, households are drenching in the pool. Are drenched in the pool of that poverty. You are all right. But a country being governed that way has one destiny: doom. And that is why people like us believe that if the poverty in Nigeria, with the resources that those countries that are trapped inside Nigeria today are endowed with, if the northern lazy criminals indeed are interested in developing their own people, investing in them, what they need to be is responsible region is right there in northern Nigeria. But they are not interested in that. They have tasted free money. The money they don't have to be accountable for. And same thing goes to those who are from either the Biafra land or those who are from the western part of Nigeria, which is the Yoruba land. We have all it takes. And that's why some are saying, if anybody really cares about what is going to be the fate of Nigeria, and that fate is not a good one, sooner or later, it is a country destined for doom. And listen, is this not because of what we want it to be like? It is what these guys who are ruining it, it is what it is going to become by their own action. And you can save that. We all can save that, save the lives of our people, and reject the sort of the trajectory they are trying to foist on us. Yes, we can. I believe, sorry, 1 second though. Give me 1 sec. As I was saying, a country where you know that the trajectory of where this is going to end, no amount of prayers, all right, can change that. When the people that are in charge are still doing exactly what they were doing that brought Nigeria to this state, right? They are still doing the same thing. It is pure waste of prayer. It is not to make you feel like prayer doesn't work. The reason why prayers don't work in this case in Nigeria, and it will never work, is because those who brought Nigeria to this stage, yeah, they are still doing this, even worse. So if you are praying, it is either you are wasting your prayer or you are not really directing the prayer to where it should be. And if you should direct your prayers about Nigeria, truthfully, you will discover that there will be this Holy Spirit, a truthful spirit, that is also going to begin to speak through your mouth that they should break up Nigeria. Yeah. Because if you begin to pray and you are using these criminals and all of their activities as your prayer point for Nigeria, there is no way that before you conclude that prayer, you will not ask God, God, this is too much. Please break up this country. Give us the courage. Give us the strength. Give us the number. Give us all it takes. We need to encourage the peaceful breakup of this country so that we can break the chain that these rogues have been using to hold everyone around. I mean, try it. Try it. Don't pray for Nigeria to be great. It's a waste of prayer because Nigeria won't be great when you have cancers and cankerworms eating this much mercilessly. No mercy. Nama is not going to fall from heaven. I hope you remember that. No, it's not going to fall from heaven. You are mocking God. You are blaspheming God. Because listen, for those who are very prayerful, you've done everything. You've prayed. Prayed and prayed and prayed. Haven't you been asking yourself, why have your prayers not been answered? Does that mean that God is not listening to you? Eh? Does that mean that God doesn't answer your prayer? No. You are not listening to God. Yeah, you are not. If you are an honest, prayerful person, and suddenly you started praying for Nigeria, and you are praying for Nigeria, and you are picking those prayer points, you are praying for Nigeria, there is no way that same God or that same voice will not tell you that don't waste your prayer. Not like this. People have said to break up a country is not that easy. I am not saying it is easy. Those who are holding Nigeria to ransom today, they themselves are not kind of taking it easy, of course. But no matter who they are, put all of them together, they're not, themselves and their family, they are not up to 10,000 people. Now let's choose Nigeria number of 200 million people, and you have just about 10 million of them who are kind of tired. Nigeria was not one Nigeria in 1960, young man. Whatever those older people told you, and every other thing they sort of brainwashed you with when you were in school. Trust me, Nigeria was not a one country that they are presenting out to you today as. No. Even when they said they are giving Nigeria federation, a federal system of government, they are still practicing unitary system of government. The government of the few, by the few, and for the few. Unitary. So, a lot of us have made different proposals that at least Let Nigerians decide if they want to actually be called Nigerians in Nigeria or not. Trash that trashy book called the 1999 Constitution, which is the foundation of all of the crimes against Nigerians today that these guys are getting away with. Nigeria 1999 decree, is that decree 4, decree 14 of Abdusalami Abubakar. That is the Constitution of Nigeria. Burn it, pack it from every library, put them in front of your office, put them in front of every building, burn them. Delete them from your files, crush them, crash them, tell your children, this is not from you. Now, when you have that chance, and in that conversation, a confederation is also ideal because, a federal system of government, ordinarily, if it is federal in nature, there will not be this much animosity. Federal system of government says you can control your resources. It is like regional system of government with smaller divisions. 2, 3 states, 4, 5 states can come together, put their resources together, build their development together. That's their choice based on their resources. That's the federal system of government. The federal system of government is not a government whereby everybody goes to Abuja, Cap in hand to collect allocation that they are going to immediately transfer out of Nigeria as their loot. That is not federal system of government. No. A system that turns criminals as criminals as governors, as well as the alpha and omega of your own resources in your state. Meanwhile, they are just puppets in the hands of their own puppet master, the puppeteer, whoever is at the center. That is not federal system of government. That is robbing Peter to pay Paul. Robbing Jane to pay Janet. It's all fraud. But in this case, they are even saying they are robbing Peter, robbing Paul, robbing Jane, robbing Janet. And they are using that to kind of live their lifestyle. Everybody is being robbed. Like somebody once said, APC, Egbekegbe, in the recent time, they are the Oganla Bajue, the 419ers that are so audacious that they defrauded even the people of the terrestrial world. APC, Egbekegbe, in 2015 to 2023, ruined the lives of the same people they promised a change. The Bajue gang, then scam Nigerians, then scam Northerner, Southerner, Easterner, Christian, Muslim, Babalawo, Mamalawo. They scam witches, wizard. They scam all those, they scam everything scamable. Scam pastor, scam woli, scam afa, scam sheikh, scam sultan, scam everybody they can scam. And they still stood back to say, people are ungrateful. I remember the witches and wizards in Nigeria said they were endorsing APC, Egbekegbe, remember? Last, now everybody collects in today's Nigeria. And that's why they are now saying that even the witches are now running away from kidnappers. Because everything has turned upside down in a country led by rogues, APC, Egbekegbe, and their hirelings. You get what I mean? So we have seen it. And you should always remember that if they are giving you unitary system of government and they are calling it federal system of government, today, Nigerians hate themselves more. Nigerians are more divided. Nigerians are poorer. The crime rate in Nigeria is escalating. It is like living in a jungle. It's worse than before. People are still giving birth. They are still procreating. The criminals have no plan for anybody. So if I tell you a country being run like that has one single destination, doom. So once you get that mind to say, we need to try something new. Even if yours is not to break up Nigeria totally, let's start with confederation. There's another system of government called confederation. So confederation is similar to federation of federal system of government. It's all boiled to make everybody go day in day and make contribution to a center. These are few things that can reduce a lot of tension. And their worst fear, because that's their worst fear. Their worst fear is that if they should try any other system of government, that Nigeria is going to break up. That it won't take long before the people of Eastern Nigeria, in charge of their own affair, in charge of their own people, no longer answerable to anybody at the center. They will build their own naval base. They will build their own military base. They will build their own weapons. They will build their own defense mechanism. They will build their own economy. They will do everything on their own without the permission of anybody from anywhere. So that was their fear. So they want, they don't mind. Let's restructure Nigeria. But if we want to restructure Nigeria, we must still remain Nigeria. And we must still be sharing our money, our resources together, and sharing our poverty together. So when they do national conference, where they want to talk about, okay, what is the way forward? They always remind them, listen, don't go to this area, don't go to this area, don't talk about this, don't talk about this. Because if you talk about this, they are the ingredients that are going to pave way for the breakup of Nigeria. What is it that they don't want to break about Nigeria? What exactly is the benefit of being a Nigerian in this today's Nigeria that these criminals have given to you? What is that thing? And who told them that they have the authority to decide for us? So that is where we are going. You must be able to tell yourself that this is no longer about just you. And you mustn't wait to be a victim before you see reason in this, because mine is that there is going to be a time very soon, where these people will be on the run. And I use very soon because that is exactly what I envision. But Nigerians can endure anything. They can hold back. And these guys have learned the art of getting you sort of confused. And when it is time to tighten the rope, economically, they will tighten it. If they have to reduce it a little bit, right, they will do that. But in this case, they've lost the total control of it, and they are relying on the people's psyche, the ones that will always tell them, no matter how bad it is, just tell God to do your own. Make it better for you and your family. Everybody make them go do their own prayer. Don't go and fight anybody. Oh. Don't go and say you want to go and do this or that. Oh. They are counting on that. Because if you ask me, I'll tell you, they've lost control of the country. A lot of you are just those who make it look like there is still Nigeria. And I don't know how long you're going to hold it. But there's going to be a time that you won't be able to hold it anymore. You will remember me. You will remember me. I have told people many times that the only thing that can save Nigeria from a violent revolution or breakup is if these guys just stop all they are doing to Nigerians. All the set machineries whose job and duty is to fleece Nigeria, deny them the proper infrastructures that could improve their standard of living and dip them in poverty. You know what I mean now? There are those whose job is that. Only if they can just stop. And it's going to be like the world you've never seen, even for them too. But because from my own experience, thieves don't usually stop, except they are stopped. Now, to stop them is now the issue. Because for 6 generations, they have managed to condition us that it is a suicide mission, okay, to demand for a better life in a country like Nigeria. Yeah, don't let that shock you. We have been conditioned like that. We want to buy cars. We want to build a house. We want to marry. We want to born. And going to go and fight for a better life that will guarantee all of that. No, we can't. What if they kill us, Inko? If they now kill me now, how am I going to buy a car, buy a house, or marry and born? But one thing you need to know is this. Whether you go out to go and demand for a better life or not, they are still going to kill you. And killing you is not always. There are many of you in Nigeria today who are walking corpses. You are not dead. You are not alive. There are people like that. And I don't really wish that on you. They are not going to buy cars. They are not going to buy a house. They are not going to marry. They are not going to born. Nigeria will happen and they will be gone. They didn't go and fight too. Are you kind of following that? There are people today who have been slaughtered by terrorists. There are people who have been slaughtered by the police. There are Nigerians who have been killed by the military simply because they are in the wrong place at the wrong time. Nigerians are always in the wrong place at the wrong time the moment they become the victim of the establishment. They are young, they never born, they never buy house, they never buy car, because, like I said before, we have a society that says your success is defined not by what you have to offer the world. It is defined by, do you have car? Do you have house? Do you have a wife? Do you have a woman or women? Do you have children? You are very successful. And that's why when you see some of them today, in order to show that they are now better than their neighbors, they want cars. They want all those things before they die. But what you don't know is that, let me use this number. 8 out of 10 of you, 8 out of 10 of you are not going to do any of those things. Are not going to do or any of those things in a country that these guys are administering. You're not going to buy that house, you're not going to buy that car, you're not going to, and then eventually you're probably just going to die. But the moment you know that you deserve better and you begin to boil from inside, you begin to feel the rage and the anger. You are now, that your rage and anger is also going to kind of help you to give them close marking, to understand their actions. Their actions will begin to mean something to you. You know what I mean? 160 million naira car for lawmakers. 160 million. And then you kind of look around and be like, Do they even know what that 160 million naira can really do? In a community that is lacking water, that lacks a medical center, that lacks this or lacks that, and the rest of that. So you begin to pay attention. You begin to see beyond getting cars, building house, or all of those things that you are pursuing. That sometimes will actually make you want to do anything and everything to ensure you achieve them, because you don't want to die without your parents eating the fruit of their labor. Is that not it? But if you pay attention very well, the entire system is already rigged against you. You are likely not going to be able to feed your parents in the country these criminals have created. Do you understand? Yeah. That you don't want to die because your parents haven't reaped the fruit of their labor and all of that. What I'm saying to you right now is that the country these criminals are actually giving to you is a country whereby you may never, ever be able to actually be that child to die your parents. So of what use is your fear? I'm not asking you to go out there and go and face gun or anything. No. I'm asking you to begin to, prepare yourself, to give yourself reason why you deserve better. This reason will be your motivator. It is what will motivate you to begin to demand for what is right. Now, when you are very clear about what you want and what you want to demand for, it may shock you that there will be others like you too. Yeah, there will be others like you too. And they call them patriots. Those who have reasons to fight, to die, or to live. You must have something you want to live for. A man that has nothing to die for, obviously, has nothing to live for. If I ask you, is there anything that you can really die for right now watching me? A lot of you won't be able to kind of know what the answer should be. Some of you will probably remember maybe your husband, your wife, your children. I can die for my children. All of it. Those are the spontaneous sort of a thought that kind of come to you, but it's deeper than that. Believe something that you believe in, something that you see as an ideal thing that you hold on to, an idea that is sort of transcends you, that is beyond you, something you believe that it is for the betterment of the humanity. Things, and it may be something that is family. Some will say, I can die for my family. That's something, no, I'm not saying it's nothing, no, but they are the primary thing that comes to you. If somebody is going to take away your family, take away everything you've managed to get for yourself and your family, and they're going to take them away from you, and including your family. There are many of you that will tell me, Mayegun, I would rather die. And before I do, I will do everything that nobody can take my family. That is something. That is what these criminals are taking away from you. Young people are unable to sit down and start planning their lives and live their lives. Majority of them are just living for the living sake. They are just living they are just existing for the existence sake. They are not living because of the society these criminals have given to them. Those of them who have no economic advantage, they have chosen to remain single. They won't start family since they can't feed themselves. So they are taking it away from you before you even have them. Those who have families right now, I'm talking about those of you who have your immediate family, not the nuclear family and all that. I've been extended. Anyway, I'm talking about you. I have families now, okay? I've got children, right? That you would have to kill me to take them away from me. You can't take them away. Do you get that? Because I have it. I've done few other things for myself. And this is my own lifetime that I won't say I will die for them. You can I'll fight, but I can't die for them. Do you get? But some people will tell you, no, I will die for everything that is mine. No, but when it comes to my children, when you say we're taking them away and we're writing you off and all of that, I mean, like, that can't be anything. Sure, you get? So you must have something that you are living for, something that you are waking up every morning, and every now and then when you remember it or you remember them, they give you an inner or innermost fulfillment. People have them that they will tell you I'll fight, and when you see these young people today in Nigeria, they do not give them that opportunity. You are not given that opportunity. They are already taking them away from you. Good life, they've taken them. What do you call it? Job opportunities, economic opportunities in your own country, they've taken it away from you. Now, you can't really start family. We now have young women who are doing women singles conference, single seminar in different places, praying unto God. That God carry me, they go, Baba carry me, they go, my husband house. You see that song that says, carry me, they go, Baba carry me, they go, my, even see, if I still have it. This song was from one of those singles seminars where Nigerians who have not been able to secure husband, so to say, they were in church praying to God to at least send them, send them husband. But now they were like singing. It's prayer point too. Carry me, they go, daddy, carry me, they go, my husband house. Carry me, they go.
70 years old man. Is that you? Jesus is Lord. Is that you?
So they've taken away a lot from you. And some of you need to know that. You need to sit down and reflect. You may be lucky now that you've got people who kind of pay your bills, but they won't be paying your bills for long. Like I said, majority of what they told you when you were in school and all of that were pure lies. The reality will prove them wrong. So yeah, you need to have something. You need to have purpose. You need to have something that, if it's good life, which everybody deserves, if you understand what they have done and taken away from you, that is your own very good reason to resist. Yeah, it is. They say, why are you angry with the government and all of that? Why do you want all these people to collapse and perish? Because they've taken everything away from you. They want you to get used to that. Turn to prayer warriors that God should change their mind, but God is not going to change their mind. You would have to stop them. Now you need to build that mindset. We will all not all of us will have the chance to japa. There are those who have japa. They will still japa. I tell you. The grass is not so green on this end anymore. which simply means no be all of us could get a chance of crossing it over. And when you cross it over and you discover that it is not as green as you were told, you want to japa or to japa than on you. For those who knows that they have no other place or anything and wherever you were to go, you need to build that courage. You want us to go and die. You want them to kill you. They will still kill you. You don't understand. The purpose is if you're going to be a trouble, then they get rid of you. Or if they know that a lot of you have indeed realized your own mistake, collaborating, enabling criminals is to your own disadvantage. You will be the victim. So I'm not saying those who are telling you not to be patient, not to be prayerful, not to be whatever they are saying to you. I'm not saying you shouldn't listen to them. Or what I'm saying is that after you listen to them, you will remember what Mayegun said. From my own experience, thieves don't stop. They must be stopped. Tyrants, dictators, looters, all these criminals don't really stop. They must be stopped. And if you want something better, remember this. You must take it. Like Olu said, power is not served a la carte. It is taken. You must snatch it, grab it, and run, make a run with it. I'm not asking you to grab power from anybody. I'm saying take back your own power that they have taken from you and render you weak, weakened and then powerless. You need to take that back first. Are you with me? And then, yes, freedom. It's not free. Do you know that? Even though they said we are all freeborn, I am saying this to you. Freedom is not free. Not even in Freetown. You must be willing to grab it, snatch it, and make a run with it. So what does that mean? It means that that your conquered mentality, we know it didn't happen overnight. The conquered mentality of there is no way we can get these guys and no, there are ways. It is just that you must first free yourselves from the thought that you have no power. You do. Everyone does. It is just to learn the reasons why you have to use it. And that is why you have Mayegun's Diary Political. Poverty is to make you subhuman. Poverty is to weaken you. Poverty is to break you. Poverty is to belittle you. Poverty is to break your self-esteem. Poverty turn men to slaves because of poverty. There is a saying then that the child of a poor man will become someone else's child. The wife of a poor man is not his. She is someone else's wife. And they even say, you see that breath that poor man is breathing is also not his. it could be snatched or snuffed out of him because he is poor, and his life is worthless, according to these criminals who have turned millions of Nigerians to these zombies. There is nobody that is going to ask, have you not noticed? I will kill you, nothing will happen. That is a Nigerian saying that to another Nigerian. Life is almost worthless. Your social, economic ticket or so, or standing, is what will determine the value of your life. Do you see that the world is rigged against the poor? Now, what do you do when that poverty is man-made? Should you feel contented? Should you feel satisfied? Should you, for any reason, feel like you have a virtue in poverty? Poverty is a scourge. It is a stigma. It dehumanizes. It devalues. I mean, who would be happy to be called poor? Naturally. Who should be happy to be using as the textbook definition of poverty? No one. No one. You know what poverty, the worst thing about poverty, it will come be like, say you get mental problem and you are always going to be a suspect. When you are in the midst of people, the most wretched among you is going to be the suspects. Do you think that is something? Your fellow man, you will do yes sir to your fellow man. You will prostrate to your fellow man, all for the word of naira notes. You dehumanize yourself and you say, well, we are praying for you, all of us, the poor people. There is no pride in being poor. Nothing. It is just a sort of what do you call it? A symbol of failure of those who have a chance to make life better, but they choose otherwise. Poor people that are states created. You know what I mean? They are just like the trophies for the rogues who are stealing and looting their money. To see how the distance between them and you is. And then they feel good about themselves. So they use you as a threat to those who are benefiting from their loot, like their children. Junior, you are becoming spoiled. You want me to send you to Ajegunle? I'll just send you to Ajegunle to go and school in Ajegunle. Because the people in Ajegunle are considered to be people who have low sort of lives because they are better off. Like I said, those criminals, including some of them who are rich and the dirty elite in Nigeria, they use the poor people as a sort of virtue signaling. So, yes, thank you, ma. Thank you, sir. Thank you. God bless you. So God bless you. As you are remembering the poor today, God will remember you. All your prayer, God will answer your prayer as you remember poor people today. And now it's okay. That's what I do all the time. I love to help the poor people, because I know that we need to all reach out. All of us need to, with gold and everything, all of that, including the party that came to distribute the Indomie noodles. The contingent of those who came and the transport, everything is like 10 times of what they came to share. Virtue signaling. You stole money meant for economic development. Can't use some of the change to buy noodles, to buy Indomie. Eh? And they wear the jewelry of more than 10 million, 20 million naira to go and share Indomie of 100,000 naira to poor people. We all need to do our best to help the poor. They don't pack a trailer of noodles. Part of the money meant to build the schools of your children. Get all your children in school. Whether you have money or you don't have money. Education. Your children are going to go to school. Get the best education. And once they are out of school, the system, the society is waiting to plug them and give them opportunities. Then they can then lift your generation out of the wanton poverty and all that. That's how the world works, right? But no, that will become more competitive. Very soon, all of them are going to reject noodles. Now, no go collect kerosene. If they give you 1,000 naira, una go say no go collect them to vote. That is going to be a threat. They don't want to invest in that. So you should know that such thing is against you, against your children. I remember telling someone that if something happened to you today, have you thought about it? I know a lot of you who are rich watching me right now. But have you thought about the fact that if something happened to you today, in today's Nigeria, share your family, your lovely family, your business, the people you have done so much to make comfortable. If something happened to you now that you are no more, do you think they will last in Nigeria, in that Nigeria that you see? Yeah, I'm talking to you, sir. Yeah, you. Especially you, sir. Including you, ma. Because I need to talk to you too. Okay? So you are comfortable watching Mayegun from Nigeria right now, yeah? Now, if something should happen to you, God forbid. Yeah, I say that on your behalf. God forbid. I'm just saying. But it's something you should think about, okay? Now, if something should happen to you right now, your family, your children, your business, do you think they will last a year when you are no more? Do you think the Nigeria you are seeing right now, be honest with yourself. I mean, I'm not asking you to talk about that now, just yourself. Do you think the Nigeria you are currently seeing right now, if anything happened to you, God forbid, of course, God forbid, do you think your children stand a chance of living the same standard of life you have given to them right now that you are alive? Do you think they will still be able to live like that for the next 10 years? The Nigeria you are seeing right now, do you think? They can. Oh, okay, that's fine. Lucky you. And I pray you live long enough so that you can see them through. I'm not wishing you death. I'm just saying, because this is where I'm thinking. You see, when I was very young, I mean, yeah, that's right, yeah. So just pray that I don't wish anything like that happen to any of us. Okay. But when I was growing up at a very young age, I don't know how I came across it. I don't know if somebody told me. Well, usually I just believe that it was said by my own grandfather. Then I've come to read more where people have said that as well, like live every day like it is your last. Do you understand that? You live every day like it is your last day. So what that means is you do good to people. I be do good by the people. So whatever that is needed to be done, whoever you need to show love to, show it to them now. Right? If you have issues with anyone, that is nothing that you can't just let go. Pick up the phone and call them now and say, well, it's been a long time. How are you? Olorinla. So if I don't call you, no go call me. And now you call Samo. Just call them and talk now. You get what I mean? just do that thing you want to do now, the good one that you've always wanted to do. Some are so little, some are so good. Give that support to that person you want to give it to now, if you think you can do it. The reason is because when I was growing up, I was made to believe that I should live my life like every day, like it's my last, so that when I finish doing what I have to do, the good I could and all of that, and I go to bed. If I wake up tomorrow morning, it is another opportunity for me to do what I could have done yesterday, but I didn't. I could do them today. Live your life like it is going to be your last. And that is why I was saying that just sit down there and just think about it. If something should happen to me right now, can my wife and my children, can they last a year in this Nigeria with the way this country is going? Can they last 5 years? Can they do 10? Now, if you are worried that, no, Mayegun, I don't think so. That's why I don't pray anything happen to me. I'm still doing my best to make sure that I put things right. God will help you. I understand. I'm just saying. I'm not wishing you anything bad or you should begin to wish yourself. No. It's just that it is to let you know how bad it is. And even if you are pretending, even if you are lying, even if you are thinking that we are exaggerating things, it's okay. It's fine. There are times you won't lie to yourself. Just like this scenario I just painted right now. If something happened to you, do you think, if you have a chance of looking back, you would be happy that your children will survive the next 5, 10 years without you? Okay, I think that's enough of that. So the bottom line is to let you know that the characters of people that goes into your government, they would make or mar your lives. Nigeria and Nigerians have been so unfortunate. Even though they might make it look like the people actually voted for them, we know that they've never really been voted for. But what people have also not done is to just once stand up and say, listen, we did not vote for you. We are now done. And when we say we are done, we're not just done with those of you who are currently in these places, right? We are done with this kind of a system. Okay? And we need to chart a new one. That is how to demand for something better. If you cannot japa, or you don't japa, but jakpada, they will never stop until you stop them. I had other clips and videos I was going to share. I'll keep them till next time. Kolu is said to be in Saudi Arabia to go and talk about African Arabian summit. Listen to me. You will be so grateful that Bokwari, as evil as his own record, you will be so grateful if you are no longer in Nigeria this time of Etifnumbu. You will be so grateful. But for now, you may not know yet. Give it time. And as for those who are waiting for people who don't japa already to enter plane and come back to come and help them face these rogues, don't rush you. There's no rush you. When the time is due, nobody will tell you. Nobody will tell any of us. For those who have always kept their mind open to understand what is really wrong, to be able to put together their thoughts and figure out how they can actually get themselves out of this, you have a friend in me. In the temple of truth here, you have a friend in us. Keep feeding your heart and your mind with the right information that tells you more about Nigeria, and stop feeding your mind with innuendos and lies that continue to paint a different pictures of what will happen when the actions and activities of these criminals are contrary to what they are saying they are doing. And we know what they are doing, and we know the end results. Keep filling your mind with the right information. Those who don't know, they will eventually do. And by then, you won't be one of those newly converted. You'll be one of those converting others, because you can use yourself as a good example of those who once believed that Nigeria could work, until you understand that Nigeria may work, but it's not going to be this way. Not with this style, not with these rules, not in this system. And if you really want it to, then you must be willing and ready when the time is, when that bell sounds, to demand for something better. I will have a show to help me kind of round it up, and I will see you after.
I didn't change my approach. How did I make it so for so long in life? How is it that everybody who is talking about progress today, about democracy, can count me in as one of the people who made it happen? How was it that I was able to associate globally with some of the richest people, some of the people with the greatest ideas, if these approaches did not improve? I'm just telling you that people say that so that they make you feel like you are nobody. And that's been part of how Nigerians operate. It is something that was handed down by Nigerian leaders to its citizens to say, look, apart from us, look at us. No family is entitled to be president of Nigeria. When I'm done, it will be my son. Anybody else who is aspiring, call him a name, put him down, so that other people will not have that kind of idea that they're actually greater than who they are. But I'm for greatness. I admit that I come from nowhere, and I was nobody before now. But I've been to the end of the world. And any other thing people are saying, it's also sometimes a reflection of how people are. They have looked at themselves, come to the conclusion that they cannot grow because that's where the society put them, and they don't want anybody else to grow beyond that. But that is pedestrian. What is important here today is leadership. Am I able to speak to the issues affecting you? Definitely. Can I represent this country very well? Can I represent the aspirations of the people? Can I fight for them? Can I ensure that their children go to school? Can I provide schools, hospitals, roads that will work for them and make them feel proud as citizens of this country? Can I pay people salaries and ensure that we grow this country in a way that is technologically futuristic? Can we have Nigerians who can work with us to make the country work? Definitely. As long as these things are part of my DNA and makeup and development process, every other thing you hear is part of politics. And it's acceptable that people will look at you and say, hey, sometimes people look at you. There are people who have looked at me in 2018 and said, if you don't cut your hair, right, you are not going to be, you can't be president if your hair is mohawk. You understand? And I keep my mohawk because the only way you can keep a hairstyle is if you have hair. Yes. And I apologize to those of you who don't have much hair. But the truth is that even if you look at the period of independence for Africa, hair was part of the symbolism of resistance. Look at Mandela's hair.
Thank you. So that's where I am going to draw the curtains of my Sunday sermon this evening. Thank you for coming. And then I hope you have a great, wonderful week. So if you joined us at midway, watch this from the start again. And yeah, I will see you some other time. Until then, good night.
Mayegun làwa mọ̀ làmọ̀ tó dòdòdò.
Mayegun Diary, Mayegun #1.
Mayegun làwa mọ̀ làmọ̀ tó dòdòdò.
Mayegun Diary, Mayegun #1.
Mayegun ti dé o ọ̀rẹ́ ará ìlú.
Mayegun Diary, Mayegun #1.
Lórí Facebook, lórí YouTube.
Mayegun Diary, Mayegun #1.
Gbogbo bó ṣe ń lọ ni Mayegun ọ̀jẹ̀lú kì í bò níbẹ̀ o.
Máyégún Diary Nayibi number one.
bó bá ṣe eré àní Máyégún máa wí.
Máyégún Diary Nayibi number one.
ó sì tún ṣe eré wàá gbọ́ níbẹ̀ o.
Máyégún Diary Nayibi number one.
Máyégún Diary political.
Máyégún Diary Nayibi number one.
Godfatherism kò sí lọ́rọ̀ Máyégún.
Máyégún Diary Nayibi number one.
ẹ farabalẹ̀ sẹ́ o kẹgbọ́rọ̀ lẹ́nu o.
Máyégún Diary Nayibi number one.
àní Máyégún làwa mọ̀ tó dódòdó.
Máyégún Diary Nayibi number one.
àní ẹ̀sùn ràkì.
Máyégún ti dé. Máyégún ti dé.
ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀sùn ràkì.
Máyégún ti dé.
àní ẹ̀sùn ràkì.
Máyégún ti dé.
lórí Facebook.
Máyégún ti dé.
àní ẹ̀sùn ràkì.
Máyégún ti dé.
lórí YouTube.
Máyégún ti dé.
àní ẹ̀sùn ràkì.
Máyégún ti dé.
bọ́ bàbá gbé wúrẹ́.
Máyégún máa wí.
àní ẹ̀sùn ràkì.
Máyégún ti dé.
ijó ìgbádìyẹ.
Máyégún máa wí.
àní ẹ̀sùn ràkì.
Máyégún ti dé.
bí pẹ̀sìdó bá rúfin o.
Máyégún máa wí.
àní ẹ̀sùn ràkì.
Máyégún ti dé.
bí gómìnà kówó jẹ.
Máyégún máa wí.
àní ẹ̀sùn ràkì.
Máyégún ti dé.
ọlọ́pàá tí ń darí bá.
Máyégún máa wí.
àní ẹ̀sùn ràkì.
Máyégún ti dé.
aṣòfin tí ń rúfin o.
Máyégún máa wí.
àní ẹ̀sùn ràkì.
Máyégún ti dé.
òpùrọ́ olóṣèlú.
Máyégún máa wí.
àní ẹ̀sùn ràkì.
Máyégún ti dé.
ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀sùn ràkì.
Máyégún ti dé.
àní ẹ̀sùn ràkì.
Máyégún ti dé.
Máyégún ti dé. gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀sùn ràkì. Máyégún ti dé. gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀sùn ràkì. ṣùgbọ́n ní bá ti ṣe èyí tó yẹ kí wọ́n ṣe ọmọ bá dèrò ní fi wọ́n níran o.
Máyégún ti dé. Gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀sùn ràkì. Máyégún ti dé. Gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀sùn ràkì. ṣùgbọ́n ní bá ti ṣe yìí tó yẹ kí wọ́n ṣe ọmọ bá dẹ́rọ̀ ò ní fi wọ́n níran.
wọ́n fowó bẹ́ẹ̀ o Máyégún ó sọ pé wọ́n ò fẹ́ bẹ́ẹ̀. wọ́n fowó bẹ́ẹ̀ Máyégún ó sọ pé wọ́n ò fẹ́ bẹ́ẹ̀. oníkan ṣáàtì ṣe yìí tó yẹ kí wọ́n ṣe fáwọn ará ìlú tó gbé wọn débẹ̀ o. àyè
Máyégún ti dé gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀sùn ràkì. Máyégún ti dé gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀sùn ràkì. ṣùgbọ́n ní bá ti ṣe yìí tó yẹ kí wọ́n ṣe ọmọ bá dẹ́rọ̀ ò ní fi wọ́n níran.
ha kì máa yí ṣe eré ọ̀rọ̀ yìí kì í ṣe ẹ̀fẹ̀. kì máa yí ṣe eré ọ̀rọ̀ yìí kì í ṣe ẹ̀fẹ̀. ẹni bá ti lè lẹ́bọ̀ lẹ́rù o ọmọ bá dèrò kàṣà ìtú wọn síta.
Máyégún ti dé gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀sùn ràkì. Máyégún ti dé gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀sùn ràkì. ṣùgbọ́n ní bá ti ṣe yìí tó yẹ kí wọ́n ṣe ọmọ bá dẹ́rọ̀ ò ní fi wọ́n níran.
tẹnitẹni ọmọ Máyégún ọ̀rẹ́ ara ìlú mọ̀mọ́ ni mo fọlọ́hún ṣọ́ ẹ̀ bá kìlẹ́bù. lóòótọ́ olódodo ìlú ọ̀tá ìlú mọ̀mọ́ ni ìwọ ṣá máa ń ṣọ́ra kò sì mọ́ bẹ̀rù. bọ́tà ń lè rí bóníṣègùn lé káwọn mọ̀mọ́ fi ṣera wọn ni ó ti dẹrùn tí wọn ò gbọ́dọ̀ sì mọ́ bẹ̀. èèpo ọ̀gọ̀ lọmọ bá dérò tàjẹ́ ò gbọ́dọ̀ jẹ́ ó ti jọba lórí àbínú ẹni kò sì mọ́ bùyà. àìsíwọ́lu ní ẹnìkẹ́ ìgbódì ẹyin lábàrá o ó kó ẹni tó bá dán o àkàmù. Máyégún ti dé gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀ túnra kì. Máyégún ti dé gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀ túnra kì o. Ẹ̀yin bá ti ṣe èyí tó yẹ kí wọ́n ṣe ọmọ bá dèrò òní fi wọ́n níran o.
Máyégún ti dé gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀ túnra kì. Máyégún ti dé gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀ túnra kì. Ṣùgbọ́n ní bá ti ṣe yìí tó yẹ kí wọ́n ṣe ọmọ bá dẹ́rọ̀ òní fi wọ́n níran.